Welcome back to White Claw Wednesday, episode 82. Wow, we're hitting
Yep.
some big numbers. We're keeping it going. What flavor you got going on today?
I actually have iced tea mango.
Ooh, you got the iced teas.
This is
I'm
the
hitting
first
the
time.
natural lime.
Oh, natural lime. Okay, this is the first time I am trying this iced tea flavor.
Cheers up, brother.
Cheers.
Mmm.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
So much better than the Surges, gotta say.
I thinking back
Gotta
on the
say.
Surges, I actually like those a lot.
You know, they were great for the buzz that we got, I think. Like, they're perfect for getting the buzz, you know?
Yeah, that's what I kind of like that you got a little buzz off just the one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna give a little shout out here. Someone just commented. I'm getting a notification. Someone commented on our last video and said, "That's a thick claw right there."
That's a thick claw. How'd they spell thick?
Thick with 2 C's, man.
Nice.
I love that you asked that. That's
Well,
just so funny that you
It's
you
a
asked
big
how they spell thick.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. And I'm always wondering how it's spelled. Is it CK? Is it double C? Is it I mean those are really the only two that I know, but it's a huge difference, you know.
It's like when
It's
someone says something's fat. It's like, how do they spell it? You know,
yeah, like PHAT or like FAT.
PH. Are we talking, PHAT fat?
Mhm.
Different
Yeah.
calibers.
Speaking about fat,
Huh.
have you heard about actually this is the right transition. Have you heard about how much money Scarlett Johansson was paid for the Black Widow movie and how she's suing Disney for more money because of the breach of contract
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
it being released on streaming services and in the movie theaters at the same time,
Uh-huh.
and basically that affecting her overall
Her money, her contract was
the
based
amount of money
on.
she makes off of it, because
Yeah.
it's going to make less in the box office and stuff.
So here's what I know. Half of what you just said, basically. I heard that her contract was based on, like, a big portion of it was based off box office sales because they released it on Disney Plus. Obviously, a bunch of her money didn't go to her. There was discussions that she tried to have. There was emails going around that, the management was like, "Oh, if we do this, don't worry, we'll renegotiate, your contract or whatever." And she's suing them for suing them for that. But I did not hear that. I didn't hear about the number. So, do you got the number?
Disney released a statement in defense after she, released her statement of, whatever the technical term is when you start to sue somebody, and like you release a public statement that everybody can read about why you're suing them or whatever. So Disney's follow-up was pretty much, we didn't breach contract and she's made $20 million off the movie. So I kind of saw that as like,
Don't they make like hundreds though? I feel like 20 million is not that much.
Yeah, I know, but
for something like that.
I kind of saw it as Disney trying to paint her as a villain in a sense.
Oh, of course.
In the public eye. So, but at the same time, it's like Disney is worth billions and billions, and yeah. So I mean, I guess I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I guess you're rooting for the person who's less rich. Or
yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with that. It's like they're trying to I don't know, plead to their fan base. But who's their fan base gonna rally behind? Obviously Scarlett Johansson, of course. I mean, that's my opinion. So I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, they're not gonna get anywhere by saying that. It's like, these people are so wealthy. Like, imagine being the CEO of Disney. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, you'd want, I guess you want that extra little money that you end up not having to pay your actors when they have box office clauses in their contracts, which most of the big stars do these days, apparently, which makes sense.
So she's suing them for what? What's the amount she's suing them? Just like
I don't know
she's
that.
suing them for breach of contract, and then they negotiate.
Yeah, I guess the next step would be if there's not a specific number, it's like see if they breach the contract and then see what she would be owed or dude, I don't know. I don't know. This
Whose
is all.
side
This
are you
is,
on then?
whose side am I on?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Um, um, can I sit on the fence on this one? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'd take
If you want
Scarlett
to be a
Johansson's side.
loser, yeah, you can.
I'm gonna take Scarlett Johansson's side on this one just because she's the actor and also sorry, there's a bug flying around. She's the actor and also it's like it's like one rich against one mega rich company. So it's like I'd rather root for like the single rich successful person compared to like the billion-dollar company that I feel like owns everything. And just
What if they said this? What if they said, "Hey Frank,
yeah,
we're gonna take all the money that we're not giving Scarlett Johansson, and we're gonna make the greatest movie that you've ever seen." What would you say?
Yeah.
Then,
I would
then what side are
say-
you on?
I would say, why didn't you do that with this movie? Like, because Black Widow was enjoyable, as all the Marvel movies are, but it wasn't top notch stuff, and I think it was because of the whole timing of the release. Not even talking about COVID or anything, but I'm talking about like where the character was in the scope of the universe of all the movies they'd released, and that we'd already
Kinda like
seen
the
her
last
story
hurrah,
come to a
yeah.
conclusion, and this movie, this Black Widow solo movie, takes us back to a time along the timeline of movies that was 5 years ago. So, like,
Right.
not only is it bringing back a character we've already seen completed story, but it's also, kind of just rewinding the clocks farther back than necessary, and especially considering like what we've seen in like shows like Loki and basically all the Disney Plus shows we've seen, expanding the universe further. Hell,
Right.
even the latest Spider-Man, which came out after Endgame, like it's just like how are we expected to like be that entertained by something that is back when nobody really knew anything in a sense, in terms of like the characters' knowledge in the universe. Like we were at such an early, we went back to such an early phase compared to where we are now. It's just kind of like anticlimactic in a way, So
yeah, it's not as cool. It's not as exciting.
So
It's
that's
not
why I think
groundbreaking.
exactly. So that's why I think Scarlett Johansson is in the right, because in a way I think she deserved to have a movie, 5 or so years ago, back when like it was in like the prime of her character in terms of her storyline. So
yeah. It would have been cool to see one after like Iron Man 3 or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that would have been a good time.
Because she was she involved in Iron Man 3?
No, she got introduced in Iron Man 2.
Right, okay.
And then she was in Avengers, and then she was in Winter
Avengers.
Soldier.
So maybe right after
You really could have,
Avengers.
yeah, and honestly, you could have had it after Iron Man 2, because I remember in Iron Man 2, I was like, oh man, I want to see like, because her scene in the hallway when she's beating up all the guys, and she's
iconic, man.
Yeah, like that. I remember seeing that in the movie theater and immediately thinking, like, can I get a whole movie of this? Like, I really do remember having that thought. Because I was
hair
like,
flip, right?
yeah, that hair flip, and just everything about that scene, like, just the moves she was using. Like, I'd never seen, like, fight choreography like that in a movie, and I was just like,
yeah.
And the red hair, the curly red hair, and the suit, and it was a cool moment, because it was sort of like the first time I remember, like, watching a comic book movie and seeing a character come on screen that I didn't really recognize, but at the same time I did. Like, I didn't know the significance of the character I was seeing on screen, but I just knew the way they were shooting her and the way that scene was, that I was like, okay, this is like a huge character right here that I don't know, but I'm going to get to know sooner rather than later. And that's what I was thinking at the time, and little did I know it would be 11 years till she had her own movie.
Yeah. That scene has got to be one of my favorite Black Widow scenes. And then also, this is kind of like an offshout, but the scene where in Endgame, when she's eating a PB&J and she's like the lone Avenger in their headquarters, and then Captain America comes through.
I'm glad
that scene was great. That scene was amazing.
Dude, there has never been I've never seen a more dramatic peanut butter and jelly sandwich eating.
You know,
Just
it's so funny
job
about
that scene like that. I was like, wow, she's like, man, she's acting the hell out of this scene because like not only does she have to get emotional and all serious and cry, but like she also has to be eating like a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, and you know what was hilarious is I was, you know, the emotion didn't really resonate with me, but her eating that PB&J and the way her like, it just looked so realistic. You know, I was getting the feedback from the resistance of the peanut butter. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and not only that, but I think the acting job was so good was because like she was sort of freaking making you feel as if she was actually depressed or something, and she was like having a hard time eating because, you know, I feel like a side effect of depression could be like not wanting to eat. So I could see it as also as like her like forcing it down in a way like I was watching someone force themselves to eat because they knew like, okay, I haven't eaten anything today. I gotta get there. Like, it was just, man, dude, you're right. That peanut butter sandwich scene sticks out, man.
It's one of like the only scenes where, you know how in movies they'll go an entire movie without doing normal things, like
Yeah. Without doing things we do every
drinking,
day.
anything, you know, like things that you need to do. It's like one of those scenes where they're actually doing that, and it's like 1 in a million, you know.
You know, I'm glad you bring that up because I wrote a paper on Quentin Tarantino in college, and one of the things I talked about, one of his tropes that I love, is the fact that he always has his characters eating and drinking in all his movies. So,
oh really?
Yeah, next time you find yourself watching something written or directed by Tarantino,
Django.
There's gonna be like eating and drinking scenes. It's really it's odd.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite things about him because the scenes are always like the food looks really good or the drinks look really good, and then the conversations always feel like conversations that these characters would actually have if they were like eating together. Like, oh man, it's so money, dude.
Yeah, reminds me of Quentin Tarantino directed Django Unchained, right?
Yeah, he did.
Where
Like
the famous
what? Go ahead.
The famous Leonardo DiCaprio scene where he breaks the glass on the table and actually cuts his hand.
Yeah, and they kept shooting and he kept acting. Yeah, money
they
stuff.
kept shooting and he wiped the blood on
Kerry Washington's face. Yeah.
I don't know her name, but
dude,
man, how surreal.
Yeah, that's one of the most
awesome.
That's like, oh, that's a great Hollywood fun fact right there. But yeah, I mean, you know, following that scene just a few, you know, moments later in the movie, if I can recall correctly, they end up eating white cake. Like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Calvin Candy, he mentions that they're having white cake for dessert. And then in the beginning of the movie, Django and the dentist, they go in to the bar and he serves up the beers, the draft beers, and and then in Pulp Fiction you have the diner scene with the milkshake and ordering all the like the burger and you know.
Fun fact: I never watched Pulp Fiction.
Oh
I know.
Man, dude. Oh, Ryan.
Not really a fun fact, more of a lame fact, but
no. I mean, it here's the thing. This always comes back to one of my favorite things about movies. This is why I love movies. Is because everybody
you like movies. Who would have thought?
Everybody hasn't seen something, right?
Yeah, that's
true.
Like
you're like, oh man, like lame.
You
fact.
hadn't seen
like,
Friends.
Exactly.
Which isn't a movie,
okay.
But, yeah.
Well, let's pump the brakes on that in terms of historical, you know, just
perfect
greatness.
reference.
But no, I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. Friends, you know, did its thing as a sitcom. But no, I was strictly really talking movies in terms of like, I haven't seen this or like I haven't seen this. It's like everybody has those things like where you say the thing and you're like, oh wow, oh my god, like you haven't seen that, and that's just like that's what's fun about it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm trying to go back to the theaters now for the first time and watch. I think I was telling you about it. Quiet Place 2.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, I have bad news of those for you. You know, it's not. I don't think it's on its theatrical run anymore.
Oh, it's already out. It's like
because
it's over.
What was interesting about that is let's see, it was the 25th or I think 25th of July. Like basically the opening weekend of the movie Old, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. I saw it on opening weekend in the theater, and there was a trailer before the movie came on that was advertising A Quiet Place Part 2 streaming soon on Paramount Plus. So it's
Paramount
like,
Plus.
dude, Paramount. I don't know if you know about Paramount
Aye.
Plus, but Paramount got into the streaming wars and they released Paramount Plus, which has, some ish on it, like they all do. But
There's
that's
Showtime too. Showtime. has
Showtime,
one.
dude. Everybody, like, there's so many streaming services now. Like,
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. But I was confused, like sitting in the theater and knowing it's like the end of July and like Quiet Place had been out for over almost 2 months now. Like it had come out, I think, the end of May or something like that.
Yeah.
And then this Quiet Place trailer comes out. I'm like, what's going on? Like, this can't be right. Like this must just be in like an old, like they're running an old trailer by mistake or something. But then boom, it pops up on the end like streaming soon on Paramount Plus. And I was like, oh shit. It was kind of like a oh shit moment because I realized maybe like even more so than before, movies are going to be like coming out onto streaming services, not necessarily at the same time. Like some releases will be theaters and streaming services same time, like Black Widow.
Yeah.
But a lot of other movies will probably have deals where it's like, okay, you get 1 month in the theater and then you're on Paramount Plus or you're on Showtime Plus or whatever the F it is. But it's like, I was like, oh shit, this is happening.
Yeah, that's probably what the future holds, is big time movies are not going to be in theaters for so long. And they're going to cost more on streaming services too. Like I think Black Widow was like $30 or something like that.
Yes.
Because obviously you can watch it with more than one person, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give and take there. And you're not actually in the theater. You don't get the atmosphere,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how theaters are doing right now. Like, I wonder if they're popping.
Well, I will say that I've seen Black Widow in theaters, and then I've seen, like I said, the M. Night Shyamalan movie in theaters, and both of them were pretty solid crowds. Like Black Widow, there were people in every. To be fair, I saw it on opening night, but there were people on every row pretty much. And then Old also had a pretty good crowd. And fun grammar fact: when you say, "Oh yeah, I saw it in theaters," or at least this is what my parents told me in terms of grammar. And it's funny because I just feel like the younger generation, people born in the '90s and beyond.
Are you about to tell me you're supposed to say at the theater?
Well, I saw it in the theater or at the theater. Because you realize when you say I saw it in theaters, that would mean like I can only say that. I'm gonna nerd. I can say that with a lot of movies, grammatically correct.
Because you've seen them at multiple theaters.
Like if I said, oh yeah, I saw The Dark Knight Rises in theaters, that would be correct because I saw it 3 times. Like if I saw the first Avengers in theaters, that would be correct. It's like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like a plural thing.
I do get what you're saying.
But it's funny because everybody who I've ever interacted with that isn't my parents has referred to it as, oh yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
it's just
what it comes.
It
comes from? It comes from those people that do the awesome voices when they're doing the advertisement, and they're like, in theaters, July 30th, and it's like in theaters. Boom, I'm seeing it in theaters.
Dude,
that's where it comes from. Because immediately when you said that, all these awesome voices, like the guy who does EA Sports.
Yeah,
it's in my head.
Yeah. Damn, I'm really glad you said that. That's a big realization. I'm really excited to tell my parents that. That would be really cool.
Absolutely.
And then they're immediately, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, well, it's still grammatically incorrect. Because
it is, though. It is.
Like,
it
if
is.
you think about, if you're putting yourself in the shoes of the guy who's doing, like, the epic voice, he is literally saying, yeah, it's gonna be in theaters across the country. Like that's kind of the
correct.
Full the full like every state is gonna have it in their theater and it's in theaters. But like I said, I will continue to just say, yeah, I saw it in theaters. Because it's just
me too.
It just sounds better. I don't know why.
Whatever comes out of my mouth, I'm gonna stand by.
Yeah, and then when someone corrects me on it who isn't my mom or dad, I'm going to immediately get their phone number and become great friends with them because they're a rare gem,
It's almost like, you go up to your teacher and you be like, can I use the bathroom?
Yeah.
And be like, may you use the bathroom? Yes, you may.
Exactly.
It's like that, but like times 10 because no one's ever thought about this besides your parents.
I think you might be right on that. I think everybody out there has certain things that they've heard from their parents that are just like, man, I cannot wait to see if somebody else says that same thing to me one of these days.
Oh my God.
Because that feels rare to me.
So many times. There's this thing called escalation of commitment, where like you've committed to something and then you've figured out that it's not the best, but you still have to do it because you've committed to it, you know? Or you don't still have to, but you decide to keep doing it because you've committed to it. My dad does that all the time. You actually see it in work a lot too. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're designing something or if you're building something and you've committed, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or maybe you've bought some materials, whatever. You've committed to doing it this way, and then, halfway through the process, you realize, oh, well, there's a better way to do it, or, oh, there's just a fault in, the design. But you keep doing it anyway because you're just escalating your commitment. I learned that in grad school.
Yeah, so does that sometimes apply to doing something the wrong way and continuing it to do the wrong way? Continuing to do it the wrong way?
That is exactly what it is, because you're doing something and you've basically, contributed X amount of hours, X amount of time or work into it. You realize it's the wrong way or there's a better way, but you continue to do the way you've been doing it just because you've committed to it, right?
Okay. Yeah. You know what? That sounds like
Don't
something
let that
I've done
be you,
on
man.
things. No, but I feel like I've done that on things that aren't the stakes aren't high.
We all do, of
Yeah.
course. It's hard to see those biases in your mind.
Yeah, and that's one of those things I feel like you know if you did it, like you can think of the clear example of doing it if it was something that was really bad. Like imagine if you built a structure, like you're an architect, and you build a building, and halfway through the build, you find out that there's some structural flaw. Well, that was tough to say. That will like come up to bite the building in the ass in a few months or whatever. Fuck something up, and you realize, oh shit, I've planned it out this whole way to make this situation that I just found out even worse as I continue. And doubling back might get me fired or lead to, tons of other consequences. And I don't live in this building or
die.
And it's like I'm never going to use this building, so might as well just continue on my mistake. And then like you can and then the building collapses a few months later. That's like, but I feel like normal everyday people do that same thing, but they do it in situations that aren't like the stakes aren't high enough to make it memorable,
Yeah. I mean, I would hope that if you're like designing or architecting a building in like New York, there's some pretty robust safeguards and multiple people hovering over your shoulder making sure that you're designing it correctly. Right?
Oh yeah. I should have gone with it. I couldn't come up with an example quick enough that I actually knew something about. For some reason,
no, you're good.
Building
a good
building
example.
came to me.
It was. No, it is a good example.
But
I'm just saying, like, it's not on one person in that scenario.
Definitely
I hope.
not. Definitely
not. I'm not in the engineering process of those buildings, but
I was watching a movie called Lay the Favorite a few days. Actually, when I was taking care of the dogs, and it had starred Bruce Willis, and basically you got Bruce Willis and you got a young Rebecca Hall. And they kind of have some flirtatious energy going. And there's a shot in the movie where you see them kind of start to play footsie, like as their relationship kind of goes to like the flirty level, the next level, And
are they like sitting at a dinner table? Where are they playing footsie?
They're sitting at they're in like a betting room in Las Vegas, and they're like they're basically sitting at a round dinner table. You could just call it that, like a short round table.
Got you.
And
I gotta say, sorry to interrupt here.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, playing footsie is not a practical way to flirt. I mean, that's just not realistic, right?
But that's
like,
what was
in
extra.
What scenario are you tapping someone's foot as a flirtatious thing?
Right.
I don't know.
Ryan, this movie had 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. It wasn't getting a lot of things right, but this was
that,
personally
critic or.
It was what? Oh, critic score? Yeah, it was critic score.
That was critic score.
Yeah, that was critic score. I can't remember what the audience score was, but there probably wasn't even one because it was such like a small, not really, a big, well-seen movie. Like it got made for $15 million and it only made $1 million, so not too hot. But this shot in the movie just made it all worth it for me because you see this whole footsie thing, and like you said, first off, okay, footsie, really, come on, people. But not only that, but what we're seeing is we're seeing Bruce Willis's old man leg, and by old man leg, I mean he's got like the white New Balances on, the chunky white New
Oh, yeah.
Balances. And then
Like-
he's got a all white sock pulled up and stretched
Oh, yeah.
up as high as it can go,
Oh,
up to
yeah.
right under his knee. And
Oh, yeah.
and then you have, Rebecca Hall's, beautiful leg with nice shoes and just it's
Some
just
high
it's just
heels on.
yeah. And then you have
Yeah.
the two legs like tapping feet, and it's just such a funny shot because it's like there's so much
could
in this
totally
shot I
imagine it.
cannot buy right now. It's just everything about it is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you got to have like a nice, sleek suit on, which is really tapered down, like hugging the leg kind of. And then you got to have a nice, slim dress shoe on for the guy. I think that's the only way you're pulling that off. And you're definitely not pulling it off with New Balances unless it's like a spoof. Like if that was in-
wasn't a spoof. Like the movie
was
was
in,
taking itself completely seriously.
and I really saw it as like, okay, Bruce Willis really part of his contract for this movie was that he got to wear on set like what he wears every day, because he was dressed like an old white guy in every scene, he just had like kind of like Tommy Bahama, type shirts
Was
on.
that
and
actually
then
part of his contract, or that's just what you're assuming?
I was just making this up in my head, just because he's supposed to be, he's the main he's the main male character of the movie.
Who's his
and
character? Like, what does he do?
He's a bettor, so he basically just bets on. He like owns like a sports betting place in Vegas, and him and his employees pretty much bet on, sporting events and make their living off that. And this young,
the New Balances don't fit.
Yeah, the New Balance. Yeah, and he's supposed to be this cool, like knows about sports, like sports bettor guy who's able to attract a beautiful younger woman, and they dress him in freaking cargo plaid shorts and Tommy Bahamas and socks to his knees and New Balances, and I'm just like, what are we like? What? It just
sports bettor in Vegas who wears New Balances, cargo shorts, and plays footsie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Oh man,
this movie's called Lay the Favorite, by the way.
You know what's so funny about that?
It's pretty. It's a funny time.
The scene you're describing, like if anybody else saw that, like people would be worried. They'd be like, "Is that girl okay?"
Dude, this is when
if I saw that, I would be like, "This is." I mean,
I'm glad.
should we
you
call
say
the
that.
cops?
Yes. Yeah. It's like,
is anybody looking under this table over here? Because
Does
this should not
anybody else
be
see
happening.
what I'm seeing right here? That's how unrealistic it is.
yeah. It was. Oh man.
I'd be worried about her.
Yeah. It's oh man.
God, bad movies. I swear, bad movies are just as fun as good movies.
They really
sometimes.
are, honestly.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
why
and-
spoofs are great, because they're so bad, but they're bad on purpose,
Dude, you know why I even thought of this was because I was talking about the architect thing, and you were saying how hopefully with something like building a building, there'd be multiple people, like you have to get ideas passed, there'd be, and that's
major approvals.
I thought of the Lay the Favorite movie because just that one shot alone of the footsie, I was just sitting there thinking, wow, over 100 people worked on this movie, and nobody was like, you know what? This isn't really working.
Yeah. It's got to be one of those environments where people are afraid to speak up.
Yeah,
Like the
because
directors-
Bruce Willis is just dictating the whole thing, I assume.
Or
I don't
Bruce
know.
Willis, whoever.
He apparently
those
is
are
a
toxic
big-time
environments.
diva.
What's up?
I said Bruce Willis is apparently a huge diva.
Oh, well, it wouldn't be the first, right?
Yeah, apparently his rate now is $1 million for one day.
Does
So-
he? What movies is he making now?
I mean, he's just making like, nobody sees him straight to video release, bad action movies. That's been his career pretty much since he made the fifth Die Hard movie in 2013. With a few major movies sprinkled in, but yeah, he's pretty much just been doing straight to video stuff.
He
Getting
is a
his $1
great-
million a day kind of thing,
he is a
which I would
great action
believe.
Star. He
Yeah,
is
I
a great
mean-
action star.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like you can't get to that point of diva without having the track record to prove it.
You remember how I was watching Chuck?
Yeah,
I was rewatching Chuck. I don't know if you remember this scene, but there's a scene. I think it's in season 3.
Uh-huh.
You remember Morgan, the character, right? Spoilers out there. If no one's
I
whatever.
love Morgan. Morgan is
Morgan.
so funny.
Anyways, somehow the Bymore gets like taken over by I don't know, some spies or something.
Yeah,
and
they do this the Die Hard spoof. yeah.
he like he's trying to figure out what he can do to like, you know, I don't know, get people out of this situation because they were tied up and stuff. And then he literally just recreates the Die Hard scene. He like takes his shirt off, tapes a gun to his back. Right, I don't know what he does. He must have like written marker on his foot to act like it was bleeding or something because it was red. And he starts limping and saying the exact lines. And then he tries to reach back and he can't reach the gun.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Just
so funny.
I mean, the cultural impact in movies and TV of the movie Die Hard is so big that I have multiple shows that I love and have watched all the way through that have Die Hard references in them to the first movie. Like I can just think of 3 off the top of my head, like Chuck, like you said, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Workaholics. Like all 3 of those shows have all included really funny homages to, you know, the gun taped on the back famous Die Hard movie, just because I mean it really is so good. Like that movie is just, some movies don't age in terms of entertainment and watchability, and that's one of them for sure.
Did you ever watch 24?
No, I didn't. I just know that Jack Bauer was a real badass.
Oh yeah. He was cool.
Yeah.
I never finished it all, but my parents were super into it when I was younger, and this was like right at the age where I was I mean, I might have been like 10 or something like that. And so my parents were just letting me watch those type of movies. I mean, maybe that's not a accurate age I was at, but I remember being like, whoa, like this is what adults watch.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, this is what adults watch. Oh yeah.
It's like explosions, blood, and gunshots where the guns have like 20,000 bullets, you know.
Yeah, they never run out of ammo.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And so I would always kind of jump in every night or something like that and watch a couple episodes. Really cool.
You know, that reminds me of you saying the whole guns never running out of ammo. I recently was about to, like, my Xbox 360 still works. Like, incredibly enough. Like, it's like 9 years old, almost 10 years old now. It's still running. And I felt like...
It's older than that, dude. It's older than that.
Well, I'm just talking about, like, I got it when I was 12. Wait, oh my God, I got it when I was 12. It's 11 years old now. Holy wow.
It's way older than that, too.
Yeah, I mean, the console itself is, what,
Maybe
16 years old?
Yeah.
16 years old? Because I do have the base model. Like, I have the model they released in 05, like the arcade, like the all-white one. But, yeah, so, I mean, it's old as shit. But point being, like, I felt like launching it up a week ago or so, and I put in Gears of War, and I was loading up the game, and I thought of, like, I remember when the third game came out, Gears of War 3 in 2011, 10 years ago. Wow. And I was like, I remember being a kid in middle school and thinking the trailer was so cool. And I pulled out my phone, pulled up YouTube, and I pull out the trailer, and I pull it up. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to just take me back. And, like, it wasn't as good.
Really?
It was actually kind of disappointing because, like,
dang.
A lot of the nostalgia trailers that I rewatch, like, hit again. Like, the Halo Reach had an incredible trailer. Actually, fuck it, let's get into that after this. But the Gears of War 3 trailer kind of just wasn't hitting for me. And I think part of the reason was because my, smarter brain, my more mature brain, like immediately noticed the fact that the main character, Marcus Phoenix, has a double-barrel shotgun, and he shoots it like 10 plus times in the trailer.
That would do it for me too.
You never see him reload it. And you don't even see cuts between all 10 shots. Like you'll see like 4 shots in a row where just the camera's just on him. And it's like he just shot a double barrel gun 4 times. I don't know. It's just like I overanalyzed it. But dude, the Halo Reach trailer.
Yeah.
If you look up Halo Reach, like Remember Reach, I think the trailer was called Remember Reach. It was. I've probably watched it 20 plus times over my life, and it is so dramatic and it just feels like a full movie in like a 2-minute trailer. And it's one of those trailers that always makes me tear up.
and it's just so it's about sacrifice and war.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it to anybody. It's called Remember Reach, but it's a trailer that it does the opposite of what the Gears 3 trailer was doing, and it
Lots
doesn't
of reloading.
age, like, well, no, I mean, no, not the reloading part, but I'm just saying in terms of like Halo Reach came out in 2010, Gears of War 3 came out in 2011. You fast forward to 2021, and I'm watching the trailers again for nostalgia, and the Halo Reach one hits me with all like the good feels, and then the Gears of War hits me in the way of like, oh, why did I think this was cool?
Dude, Halo has arguably, I mean, I remember playing Halo 3 and then Halo Reach. And
Same.
I never had an Xbox. My brother had an Xbox.
Oh,
but
shit. Yeah,
I remember playing, I would literally come into his room and play Halo Reach campaign. It was so good. I mean, it was just a phenomenal campaign.
Yeah.
And I remember the storyline was so great. I can't even like pinpoint any memories on it. But anytime I see like highlights, and now they're doing competitive back on it as well. Like it's getting big again. And sometimes it pops up. Like I follow BR Gaming on Instagram, which is Bleacher Report Gaming.
Report, yeah.
And they'll post highlights every single time, and I'm just like, oh man, that looks just feels so fluid, like you've got the kind of like the anti-gravity jump, and you've got the rocket launcher, the grenades, the assault rifle, like the burst. I'm just like, oh man, that hits home, And anytime I see a Modern Warfare clip, especially from the campaign, and one comes to mind because I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy, his name, but it was the like general, and he's like white. He's got the white hair, and he betrays Ghost, and again, I'm forgetting the main character's name, but
Captain
he betrays
Price?
Captain Price. That's it. At the end, when he comes
Modern
up,
Warfare
and
2.
Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
He shoots them and then basically sets them on fire, which sounds crazy when I say it.
It's different. Things are different.
Things weren't really different, but yeah, man, I've seen that scene so many times, like just somehow come into my life, and I'm like, wow, that game was so good.
I mostly say things are different when talking just in general about Modern Warfare 2, mostly just because of that airport level on campaign. Like that.
Would that fly today? I
don't think it would.
You don't do any innocent killing anymore. There's no undercover ops that you're literally just unloading on innocent.
Not in a major game.
I remember my parents watching that. Yeah.
I don't think that would happen. But you probably still have some indie games out there breaking some rules.
Yeah, I remember playing that and hoping my parents wouldn't like
walk
in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then eventually my parents did see it, because me and my brother got pretty confident. We showed them it. Like we went to that level. But
you showed them that specific level?
Yeah, because
holy fuck,
my dad was super curious. He's like, "What is so interesting about the, like why are you guys playing this so much?" And that was like prime addiction for me, like prime Modern Warfare 2.
You were really good at Modern Warfare 2, weren't you?
I was pretty good. Yeah, I was pretty good at that.
Like,
and
you did a lot of online. Like you prestiged up. Were you prestiging, or were you the kind of guy who would just stay at the highest level and just not prestige because of like?
You know what? I'm a pretty unique character, because most people would either stay at
55 or 70. I think it was 70 back 70 then.
Level 70, but you wouldn't prestige, and you'd be like commander or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
I went all the way up to prestige 9.
Ooh.
And I just stayed there. So you had the opportunity to go to prestige 10, which that was the highest one. Emblem, which I really didn't like. I thought it was whack. So I really liked the 9 emblem, and so I stayed there. Stayed there, baby.
Dude, I like that you say that, because
there have been many CODs for me that I've played where there have been, symbols in the prestige rankings that are just way cooler than other ones, either like before it or after it. So a lot of people, and also that's just the cool thing about like having the different artwork for every prestige symbol is you have different people with differing opinions. So it's like some people like, oh, I'm gonna stay at 5. Oh, I'm gonna stay at 7. Like because it's like that's the
Yeah.
coolest symbol.
Yeah.
But it's different now in the current Call of Duty. The current Call of Duty is they released Modern Warfare end of 2019, and then Warzone came out a few months later in the beginning of 2020, and then Cold War, the new Black Ops, came out at the end of 2020, and then a couple months after that, they combined both games and made it one leveling system. And not only is it one leveling system across both games because they wanted to keep Warzone popular and also like, you know, kind of interject the new guns from Cold War into Warzone to kind of freshen it up. And they made it one leveling system, and not only that, but there's no stopping. Like there's no like entering, it just prestiges automatically. So there's no more there's no more of like pressing select on like, I want a prestige. It just automatically prestiges you and takes you to the next one. Yeah.
Oh man. Why do they do that?
They did that just to avoid what we're talking about right now, I guarantee.
Yeah, because maybe they want people to have to go back and do it.
That's couldn't have said it.
I had all the guns unlocked, everything.
Exactly.
Once I prestige, I got to do that all over again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or
it kind of makes sense.
The other one is like, oh God, this freaking prestige symbol sucks. I'm gonna grind this one out. You know.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny when I had like everybody in the lobby was. I mean, we're really geeking out right now, but everyone in the lobby was like prestige 10, and I would just be the only person prestige 9, and we're talking like way down the road, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you noob tubing in Modern Warfare 2?
No, dude. I was, by the time I was like prestige, I don't even know, but I was straight sniping, dude. Just
you were a quick scoper?
scope. Oh yeah, big time, bro. I was hardcore, man. It was bad.
Ryan, that's how you know Ryan was good. So because the best players I feel like were doing the quick scoping of Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
Did you use the fucking can't think of it right now, but the bolt action
intervention? Yes.
Intervention. I knew it started with an I, and
of course, man. That's the only respectable one.
Yeah,
there,
dude. The intervention was, dude. Yeah, I feel like we might have.
You know what?
Yeah,
I was always a red tiger camo too. Like you got to the point where you got, I think it was gold or something like that. I can't even remember.
Yeah, could you get, or I can't remember if there was gold in Modern Warfare 2 or if Red Tiger was the highest.
There was like the upgraded one where you had basically leveled the gun up as much as you could, and I stayed at like the lower level because I liked the camo better, you know.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, because I remember the Red Tiger was a big one. That was one of the more popular.
Blue Tiger,
camos.
Red Tiger. Oh yeah, man.
Those were
sweet. See what I'm talking about? Nostalgia, bro. It's all coming back.
Yeah.
I gotta get me a PS5, dude. I gotta start saving up or something. I don't know. I can't get myself to spend that much money on a game, you know, on a video game system. It's like,
I just give it a little more time, you know, Ryan. Like, here's the thing. You shouldn't get the PlayStation 5 until you are. This is kind of the rule I've set for myself.
Okay, let's hear it.
You feel like you're in that groove of like you've hit the groove of I don't have any major steps to take in my life for the next, you know, foreseeable amount of years future. You know what I'm saying?
That will never happen.
Okay, Ryan.
But thank you.
Okay, can I explain how okay, let me come on, Ryan. You got to be optimistic here. You got to be optimistic.
Sorry, I just totally.
There is going to be a moment in both of our futures where we feel like, you know what? I can go buy a PlayStation 5 right now.
That might be my midlife crisis then. Like, I might be at a point where I need to see a psychiatrist.
Don't be negative like that, Ryan. Think about it. Think about it like this.
I don't foresee that within the next 5 years, maybe.
I do. Here's the way I see it.
Okay.
Hear me out. I'm just gonna tell you the situation that you're gonna find yourself in that's gonna get you the PS5. Maybe just to brainwash you, so when you find yourself in this situation, you will just naturally do it and not even think of me, but just go to the store. So you're sitting at your nice, fully renovated house. Okay.
Sure.
You're a full homeowner. You're doing the homeowner thing.
Yeah.
You and Amanda are moved in with the 2 dogs. You're married. I come over every week to record a claw. It's a nice rhythm you're in, you know?
That
And
sounds amazing.
you're going to be sitting there on a Friday evening sometime, and you're going to see an article about how, oh my God, the shelves are stocked of PS5s and the new Xbox One. And I'm only throwing that in there because apparently it's also hard to get. I don't even know the name of it. That's how bad they've been with their marketing. But oh my God, you see like some article
Series
about
X or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
How the shelves are now stocked, and it's like not like a whole, lose an arm to get a new console thing. And you're going to be like, wow. And then you're going to look up and you're going to think about your current life and how things are going swimmingly, And you're going to be like, hey, Amanda, I'm going to go to Target right now. Do you need anything? And she's going to be like, yeah, you can get me X and Y. And you'll be like, all right, cool, I'll be right back. And you go to Target and you get X and Y, and then you walk over to the electronics store and you just calmly wave down one of the attendants who's working there because they're paying attention to you. And then she comes over and she asks you what's up, and you're like, oh, can I get the PS5? And then they get it for you, and you're back to Amanda, and you get her X and Y, and you get her X and Y. So then she's like, oh my God, you got me X and Y. So now I don't care that you're going to spend the next 7 hours playing video games. And then
when you
is
say it like
so
that,
happy. Yeah.
it seems very realistic to me.
It does. Like,
And
that
you really
seems like a
leveled me out.
real
Like, that is
situation.
that's a very big possibility in my life now.
And who knows? Maybe by that time it's the PS6. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, who knows how
maybe I'll
fast
just
these
wait
things are gonna
until
move.
my kids get old enough to where they get the PlayStation 8 or whatever,
Yeah.
and then I'll just be like,
It's like,
all
tag
right,
me back in, coach. I got
time to
kids now.
dust off an oldie,
Yeah, exactly.
Let me show these kids how to quick scope,
Yeah.
because we're going to be on Call of Duty 40 at that point. So
What do you think our kids are going to be playing, dude? There's no way that Call of Duty can keep going.
hey, that's
There's
what I
no
thought.
way, right?
That's what I've thought for the last 8 years or so. I really have.
It's so repetitive. I mean, maybe it's because new kids are playing, It's
I don't know. I really have been waiting for the death of Call of Duty since 2012. And
it's just iconic. There's
and
just
it's
something
just-
so satisfying
it's
about
still
pointing
going.
a gun and shooting someone
Yeah.
over the internet, It's weird.
it is.
It really is.
And they
like,
built
me saying it out loud's weird, right?
Yeah, and they also did a pretty impressive job of doing like every game like has this. They created a feel when you're playing that can't be
Yeah.
replicated. It's kind of like how everything from McDonald's tastes like it's from McDonald's. No
This is true.
no first person shooter feels exactly like Call of Duty does.
Yep, you're right.
It's just
You're
like it
absolutely
has a specific. I feel like you can compare other shooters in terms of mechanics and overall feel, but I feel like Call of Duty stands on its own and like nothing plays exactly like it, and that's why it's still going.
And it's just quick, right? It's just quick. Boom.
Dude,
let's go.
It's quick.
Respawn, quick. Boom. Let's
It's
go.
either
Respawn.
you're killing them like that or they're killing you like that.
Action all the time.
It's-
I mean, if you can have it. You can play however you want, really.
Yeah, you can. You can camp. You can run. You can. There's just so many ways.
It's a great series. No wonder it's still.
No wonder it's
kicking.
still rolling. Yeah.
All right, so you want to end it on Call of Duty is still killing it.
Absolutely, man.
All right.
Absolutely.
82 coming to a close here. Cheers up, Ryan.
Cheers up. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in.
It's been another good one. We'll catch you on the other one.